Just as much as we talk about Justin Herbert and how we always talk about potential, the flip side to that is when we continue to just bank on the past, when we don't accept what is, when we don't see clear cut evidence, years worth of evidence of what we're looking at, but we want to bank on the past. I feel that that is what we talk about. When we talk about the heydays of the Raiders when they were in Oakland, might I add, I feel it's difficult for people to accept that this is not a good team. And it hasn't been a good team for a while. Yes, they have one of the best young tight ends in football in Brock Bowers. Yes, they have one of the best defensive players in Max Crosby. Yes, I think that it's going to be very exciting watching someone like Ashton Genty, and he has a really good shot of winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. All this is true. Yes, I'm not as high on Geno Smith, even though he had an incredible year last year. I'm not as high on Geno Smith as a lot of people are, but I'm also not as low on Geno Smith as a lot of people are. I think that he is a serviceable quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. But the issue with that is there's no more winning if you're a good quarterback. You have to be a great quarterback. When we get to the NFC East and we talk about I don't think Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is probably the only exception. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's really good. But when you have arguably the best running back in the league, when you have arguably the best receiver room in the league, when you have undoubtedly the best offensive line in the league, when you have undoubtedly the best, or at least one of the best defensive lines in the league, when you have one of the best, like when you have best or arguably the best units around you, you can be a really good quarterback, not a great one. We'll save that for the NFC East. Geno Smith doesn't have that. And I will say that, and this is no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, but I think that Geno Smith is closer to Jalen Hurts than he is to someone like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. And I know that the Raiders obviously have a new coach in Pete Carroll. But let's be honest, man. This isn't a good roster. The pieces that they just brought Jamal Adams in, but this isn't a good roster. You have good singular pieces. Again, Brock Bowers is a great tight end. Ashton Genty, we're still waiting to see, but he looks like he can be good. Max Crosby's one of the best defensive ends in football, but like I'm looking at this roster right now, right? And I'm trying to, Terrell Edmonds is okay. He's good. I'm trying to look at outside of the people that I named, who is the name, the person that you can really put your faith in and say, oh yeah, this is going to take us over. Lonnie Johnson, he's cool. They don't have, outside of the people I named, this is not Jacoby Myers. Okay, that's cool. Raheem Mostert, okay, that's cool, but he had a pretty down year last year in Miami. Ooh, when I was doing the researches, I didn't really look hard at this roster as much as I'm doing now, and boy, Eric Stokes, cool. This is not a good roster, bro. Mm, mm, mm. And well, they got Devin White, but Zaire White, he's a pretty good running back. Okay, I take. I don't fully take back my statement, but they have some pieces. But having some pieces and being a good team is night and day different. I don't think there should be anybody that think. In fact, I think I'd be more shocked. Spoiler alert. I know we haven't talked about the Broncos, and I know we haven't talked about the Chiefs yet. But I'd be more shocked if the Raiders don't finish last in their division. Because while they have pieces, those pieces aren't amounting. I don't think those pieces can join together and be better rosters than the rest of the West. I'm just being honest, bro. Oh, I want to address what happened with Geno Smith. I believe it was the first preseason game where I think they were playing the Seahawks, and he alongside. Well, I'm just gonna focus on him. He flipped off a fan for having a sign essentially saying that, or was questioning who was a bigger bust in NFL history. Was it Geno Smith or Jamarcus Russell? While, yes, you would love a professional athlete to react differently to something like that. And while, yes, I do think that Geno Smith could have reacted differently, I also want to remind people that these are people we're talking about. I know the team, the money, the fandom, the fact that you paid your money to see these players. I know the contract. I know that usually clouds people's vision of people. But let's not forget that these are human beings, and every human being has feelings. Every human being has emotions, and they're going to react differently. You know, one of the biggest stories this week, and actually the last probably 2-3 weeks, has been the WNBA and fans throwing sex toys on or dildos onto the courts. It's happened about 5 or 6 times. And one thing that isn't really getting talked about is the fact of not only is it disrespectful to the game of basketball, but how are you supposed to feel these players understanding that there are a select number of people that don't give two craps about them enough to throw which is also, actually, I don't know how it is in the WNBA, but usually when you're at a home game or whoever, if there's something that gets thrown on the court, the home team usually gets a tech. So not only are you disrupting the game, you're harming your own team. And how do you think that those women feel knowing that you don't care about them at all? You just want to make a statement on the backs of their game. Geno Smith, I know he doesn't know these fans from a can of paint, but you also have to realize the road that it took to get there. Again, I would hope that he'd react differently, yeah, but he didn't. And okay. What I'm saying, these people are gonna have emotions. People are gonna react differently to things. There's a lot of fans that have forgotten that they're fans. that you're paying your hard-earned money to see these people. And just because you're paying your hard-earned money doesn't give you the right. Now, I'm not saying that fan did anything wrong. Let me also say that. I don't know what he said. He could have said something crazy. I don't know. But what I do believe that there's a lot of fans that think just because you pay your money for something, you can just act any type of way to to somebody else just because you can't have legit access to them. Because my question is always, what happens if? Would you say that to Geno Smith if you could physically touch him? He could physically touch you? Would you have made that sign? All those people that's throwing dildos at the WNBA. If the WNBA players can touch you, or anybody can would you have done that? That's what people have to remember. Come on now. But, again, back to the original point. I would be, and I think, before I say, I think Brock Bowers is a phenomenal tight end. Pause. I think that by the end of this year, if we get the same Travis Kelce that we got last year, which we'll talk about shortly, if we get the same Brock Bowers that we got last year, if we get the same George Kittle, I would not be shocked if you look seasons in and Brock Bowers is considered the best tight end in football. That's how good he is. When we were talking about college football and when he was, doing his thing at Georgia, I said I think he is arguably the greatest collegiate tight end we've ever seen. And he's just carrying that to the NFL. I think he had the most receptions from a tight end and rookie in his rookie year in NFL history. But with all that, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, Geno Smith, Devin White, Jacoby Myers, Max Crosby, Zaire White, I would be shocked if this team finishes closer to the bottom of the division than the top. Because I don't see this team anywhere close to the Chargers. I don't see this team anywhere close to the Chiefs. And I don't see this team anywhere close to the next team that we're going to discuss, and that is the Denver Broncos. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.